Hello, if you're still having trouble with our lesson 2, equal groups of fractions, then hopefully this can help you figure it out a little bit. So the first thing that we need to do is write a multiplication expression to represent the shaded parts of the diagram. So let's zoom in right here on this word expression right here. The word expression is kind of like an equation, but it doesn't have an equal sign. It's where something plus something, or it's something times something. Now, the kinds of expressions that we've been practicing, that we've been working on, are how many groups of what? And anytime I hear the word groups, I think that's going to be a multiplication expression. And that's what it says, a multiplication expression. So I'm already thinking, how many groups of what to represent the shaded parts of the diagram? And now I noticed that in my group of 1 right here, I've only got a part of it shaded. It's not the whole thing. So I already know this is going to be a fraction. I've got groups of fractions. So I'm going to say how many groups of, and then I'm going to make a space for a fraction right here. Now, when you do yours, you don't need to draw those boxes at all. I'm just putting those there so we can remember that's kind of how we think about it. I'm going to have a big number. That's how many groups I have. And then I'm going to have a little fraction. How many shaded over how many whole. And we always think of fractions like that. We think how many parts shaded over how many parts total. And I'll show you what that means. So first, you see how this little bracket here says 1. That means that this whole thing right here, that represents one whole. We could think of it as one whole candy bar. We could think of it as one whole pizza, especially if it's a circle. Doesn't really matter what shape it is. The most important thing is that we know that this is one whole. This to me kind of looks like maybe a stick of licorice. So maybe we can think of it as a one whole stick of licorice. But do I have a whole stick of licorice right there? Well, I definitely have part. Now, what part of it do I have? These are the most important questions to be able to fill in this stuff up here. So let's keep thinking about it. Let's think, how many groups do I have? Before we do anything else with those fractions, let's think, how many wholes are represented here? Like how many groups? I've got 1 right there, 2 right here. Sorry, it's kind of messy. 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to actually go ahead and number these because it might make it a little bit easier. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 groups. So where would I put my 6 groups in here? I'm going to put it right there. Big number 6. 6 groups of what though? 6 wholes? No. I've got 6 groups of something. But what do I really have in each one of these groups? We notice that they're all the same. So we can really just kind of forget about all of them for right now, and we can just think about one of these groups. What do I actually have here? Well, I see that I have 1 part shaded. So when I've got 1 part shaded, I go ahead and put a 1 in the numerator. 1 part shaded because there's 1 part that's shaded right here. That's in my numerator. And how many parts are there total? Well, let's count them. We start there. We got to count all of them, shaded and unshaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there are 8 parts total. So all of this looks like a little bit messy right here. All it is 6 times 1 over 8. And we have a name for that 1 over 8. Giving you a second to think what it is. 1/8. 6 times 1/8, or 6 sets of 1/8. Now, we got it figured out. Those were the only 3 things that we had to figure out. Next, we're moving down to this section, then find its value. When I look right here, then find its value, I'm like, what does that mean? Well, it means how much is it really worth? If something has a lot of value, then it's worth a lot. So how much licorice do I truly have here? That's what it wants to know. So I'm kind of thinking, what if I just took all of these little tiny pieces of licorice? What if I put them all together in one? That would kind of help us to see it. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my own little set of 8 right here. And if I put them all, so let's see, I'll cross them off when I put them in. There's 1, 2, shading it in, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I put them all together in one stick of licorice, like I'm kind of putting them back together, like the way they started, well, then I've got a new fraction here. What is that fraction? Well, I got to think how many parts shaded over how many parts total. How many parts was that shaded, guys? Think about it. It was 6 parts shaded. And how many parts were there total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 8 parts total. So what's that fraction? 6/8. That's the value. 6 times 1/8 equals 6/8. So I could write that up here if I wanted. Equals 6/8. Now, the next part right here, it says explain or show your reasoning. I got to think, did I already kind of show my reasoning? Yeah, I think I kind of did. Maybe all of this right here could kind of go down here. Maybe I kind of already did explain my reasoning. But let's say that wasn't enough. Let's write something here. Let's actually write out some words. What could I write? I'm thinking, I noticed that there were 6 sets and each set had 1/8 in it. When I put all the eighths, GHTHS, when I put all the eighths together, I had 6 of them, or 6/8. There's more than one way to explain it. That's just how I chose to explain it. Remember to always put your name at the top before you turn it in, and put the date on there as well. We did this one in class on 10/22. Hope that helps.